Hey there, legend. Listen, thanks very much for taking the time out to have a little look at this with us. It's quite simple, really, quite straightforward. Apologies, the initial bit is a little bit formal, and I do that on purpose, mate, just to get us in the zone, really, because I want any sort of training to be serious initially. I mean, there's fun to be had, don't get me wrong, but initially we've got to obviously have that commitment from the guys to say that they're going to do it. So that I think that pinned message is something that we don't do actually in chat either, but it's a great way of obviously having commitments. Or if you say, look, upgrade your CC level 6 or 5, or do your turrets up to this, that, the other. The guys might forget, so just pin it on those little notes, mate. So it's more than just getting commitments from the guys. Use that for obviously keynotes, and then you can obviously find those notes very, very simple rather than scrolling through message after message after message looking for the time you said, make sure you do this, that, the other. So that's really what the pin's about. It's also demonstrating that you can pin things, and again, a little bit of that commitment. So the reason I've got this screen here, you can see 82.51, absolutely fantastic, so well above average there, so you need to be really pleased with that. I can also see I've got 591 of 13,000, so I have got things to play with if I need to. I mean, obviously your Humvees and things like that are already upgraded. As you know, that's 140, XP a slot for generally upgrading those sort of things. So that overview there tells me a lot. I know you're a good, strong attacker. I know you should have a good, strong base, 51% and things like that. So that tells me a lot straight away. Okay, the reason for these screens, again, I can tell you, Mortarmen are already well advanced, and things along that sort of line. So I know that of that XP that we've got to play with, it ain't going to be on the Mortarmen, maybe possibly on machine guns, but probably not, let's be fair, you know what I mean? Machine guns have had the time, aren't they? You're not really going to use them much. This is good because it tells me how you're attacking. Now, I mean, I haven't got these Zeus yet. I've got all the crits, but I ain't got the Zeus. But it tells me that there's obviously a certain attack method that you're using that's serving you well, and obviously you've adapted, haven't you, clearly, because you've obviously dropped a tank in there as well, where perhaps a week ago that would have been just all Zeus. But supposing you get this geyser there and he's got 5 Abrahams or 5 rhinos and then a couple of Mortarmen, his attack's shit because he just doesn't get it. He's going in there as a sledgehammer thinking, you know what, all I need to do is have as much armour as I can and get through, and all I have to do really is survive to win. Well, it ain't about that, is it? You know what I mean? It's about obviously rock paper scissors is the essence of the game, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, you've got these massive helicopters, you get these little sniper geezers taking them out, and then someone takes the sniper out, and it's all about that, really. So for me, I'd be more impressed if a guy had, say, 1 to 2 tanks and a fleet of Humvees. But if I do spot about 8 tanks in his attack, I know he's shite, and I'll try and guide him that way. So that's where that sort of screen's important. Obviously, again, straight away I can tell that you've done the right thing. You've obviously no doubt done your Humvee IVF first, then you've bought plenty, and then you've upgraded, because obviously you haven't wasted your crits building them. But a lot of people won't necessarily know that, so you can tell that screen. So if you've got a guy here who's level 3 Humvees and I've got IVF, straight, IFE rather, straight away the guy's going to be wasting his crits on on building rather than upgrading, and that's obviously coaching right there. You'll get people that, if you look here, you've got 1200, but you might get somebody who's level 6 who's got bloody 800 because he hasn't realised you can upgrade capacity, so you'll guide him that way. I mean, daft little one here, I mean, you've got 500 out of 800, so you can have more Reapers if you want. You've obviously possibly done that on for some particular reason. But for me, I'd be stacking those, and especially in T3 now Flax are back online. I mean, for me, I'd probably go for 1 stack of, say, I don't know what you're going to get in there, 16. I can get 12 in. So you might have 1 stack of 16 and probably take out the War Factory for a particularly difficult base rather than 2 stacks of 5. But again, you can spot things that way, so that's why that's going on. Well jealous on the T70, and certainly I haven't got Toss yet because it wasn't in this set of crits. But you can see here your level 9 Abes are doing really, really well, so that's absolutely fantastic. I'm liking this because obviously it means you haven't wasted, crits on upgrading helipads and things like that. I'm not even sure we can do that at our level, but that shows obviously intelligence for levelling up. I'm liking this. Your Mortarmen obviously doing well. I mean, interestingly, you've got Mortarmen in your attack there. That's obviously interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, last time I did that, I found it quite slow to work with. But you know what? If it works for you, brother, it works for you. You know, and we're all different, aren't we? But again, it just shows intelligence in attack. So I'm very, very happy with that. And again, this screen here, you'd be surprised how simple this is for people like you and I. But supposing this geezer here had the 4 helicopters in the first slot, and the helicopters aren't going to come out for 56 seconds. I mean, what's that about? I mean, you know what? Because you'll get somebody there might have like 6 helicopters in that first slot there. They're not going to come out for an hour and a half, mate. You know, we've all gone home for tea by then, aren't they? You know what I mean? So it's really important that we stress how that sort of works, and that's why I'm keen on this defence. Now, I can't comment, obviously, on your War Factory defence, mate, 'cause it's well beyond anything I've got. You know what I mean? 18 seconds from coming out, I guess they do. I mean, 12 seconds for what I got coming out as a tank and things along that sort of line. But again, if you spot that screen there and he's stacked up like, 15 tanks in his first slot. I'm taking the piss, but if he had, you know what I mean? I mean, by the time anything deploys, it ain't going to even be worth doing, is it? You know what I mean? So that's why that screen's important. And again, same on here. I mean, there's debate whether now you need your sniper coming out on the first slot, because clearly now you've got potentially a Zeus in your obviously War Factory. If you've done it that way, it could be tossed, to be fair. But now your flaks are back online. Do you need a sniper coming out? Who knows? You maybe know better than I. So, but it promotes a conversation, doesn't it? I mean, I certainly go for at my level the Mortarmen approach. So I've got Mortarmen on my first slot, and again, if you've got like 18 Mortarmen as your first slot, then they're going to come out till home time, are they? So you're looking for whether their defence is even going to get deployed. So that's kind of what this screen's all about, really. You can make a lot of deductions, a lot of assumptions. And straight away, more than just looking at their map, you can tell what's going on. Okay, I would then look at their map. So apologies, there'll be messages coming through. So this is their game screen here. This is yours, obviously. Now, first observations are what I'm looking for. Do they understand this method here? So notice how your deployments are quite far out. Maybe got a small smidge there you could tweak, if you've been picky, but let's be fair, basically looking absolutely fantastic. Mines are looking in good position, so clearly you're starting to push your mines further out there, so that the defence is working well for the likes of the Zeus and things along that sort of line. And this demonstrates that you understand the concept that your attack needs to be, your defence rather, needs to be encapsulated by these walls with no gaps, because you don't see that in everybody's base. I know it sounds obvious, but half the time, yourself, when you're attacking, people's troops and vehicles are coming towards you, you bait them over here somewhere, and then you take them out. So what you're looking for at these sort of things, do they understand how the concepts work? People sometimes don't even know what transformers do, mate, so they've got them in all sorts of random places. I mean, you're looking really, really strong here. You've got everything sort of powered up. I mean, there's an argument here that some people say you don't need your flak powered up. Don't know. I mean, your guess is as good as mine on that. I get 2 stories on that. But for me, if I had a choice between perhaps swapping those 2 over, maybe I'd have the salvo, powered up, and the flat not. I mean, you've got 2 flat sniper coming out after 8 seconds. Do you need that one powered up? Who knows? But that's the kind of things that it promotes conversations on, really. So I mean, there's not much I'm going to show you, you know that already, but it's this concept that I want to go through. So I go through the screens that we've seen, and then I can make assumptions on what they're doing well, and can give them some sort of guidance. I can see what XP I've got to play with. I then do this base assessment video. I mean, if you had a massive weak spot here, mate, I'd attack you, you know what I mean? And I obviously wouldn't try and polish you off. I'd make sure I kept it below the 70. But you get loads of people, mate. They've got like the War Factory and the barracks like parked next to the spawn zone here, so you just take them out for fun, you know what I mean? Because that's what everybody else would do. I mean, you can't assume that everybody watches replay videos, you know what I mean? So you prompt them to do all that sort of stuff. So yeah, am I going to change the am I going to reinvent the wheel looking at your base? No, I'm not. I didn't expect to do so. Your figures suggest that Everything's absolutely superb. Um, would I change out? Maybe, you know what, with the current setup, maybe salvos more than your howitzers. I mean, you're probably more in tune to this than I am at the moment, because I haven't got the TOS, nor have I got the Zeus at the moment. If you feel that you're more vulnerable as an attacking player to a howitzer versus a salvo, then naturally you're going to adapt that, aren't you? I haven't used machine guns for a long time in the base, but obviously they've been increased, haven't they, lately? So, who knows? I mean, if that's going to work well, then absolutely fantastic. So, it's all good, mate. Other things I'm looking for, yes, I do have a little bit of a matrix on what to upgrade and what not. I mean, that's it's a little bit older. It's from my T4 days. As I was moving up to T4, somebody gave me a matrix on what I could look at and what not to look at. So I've kind of keep that close. Does that help me get the rocket launcher vehicle that you've got? Well, I suppose if I manage my XP well and don't go mad and start going helicopter level 3 and all that sort of shizzle, you often spot a lot of people who really upgrade the walls beyond level 3. Yours are all level 3, I noticed. You don't really want to go beyond level 3, do you? Let's be fair, you don't need to. I mean, level 3 versus level 4, not going to make a huge difference at our level. Your mind, you probably want them maximum level on every single one, but obviously don't upgrade the bit that costs you the XP, which is the number of mines it carries. I'm guiding my guys. There you go, level 2 on that. Careful, I'd probably have that level 5. I mean, if you've got enough XP left, I mean, you certainly don't want your barracks beyond 4, that's perfect. You don't want your helipad left past level 1, that's perfect. Airstrip, level 2, they reckon, is probably absolute maximum at this level. Oh, you've got yours at 3, so is that XP we could have saved somewhere else? Your guess is as good as mine on that, but I've been instructed that level 2 is good for that. But I'd be trying to get these certainly level 5 in every single one, and that might be the playoff, because if you've upgraded something there, you can't play it here. But level 2 on a salvo, it's going to get taken out fairly quickly. Level 4s on the rest of them, again, going to be taken out quite quickly. So that's kind of what the screen's all about, brother. That's what I'm about. I'm just trying to get as much information as I can, and then I can give them some sort of strategy. Now, I've saved a few bases in my time as well. If I've come across a base that I found particularly difficult to kill, I've took a photo of that one, or if my colleagues have mentioned bases that were difficult to kill, some of the H8D and F8D ones in T4 were notoriously difficult. So I've got pictures of those that I can then change my base to something that they've used and worked well for them. Bit of a cheat, but why not? You know what I mean? I can give my colleagues different base formats, one that will suit them well. They can copy mine if they want, or whatever it might be. But in essence, I'm just trying to give them guidance, and then use that sort of matrix to obviously develop some sort of structure going forward. But trust me, mate, when they say I am going to redevelop my base, do another review on it, because again, you'd be surprised how many times they'll fuck up, and it was no better. I mean, they might have took the principles on board, but it was no better, or they've left massive holes where you can just spawn from and things like that. I mean, clearly your base has got none of those issues, so hopefully it's just more this principle of training. And notice, okay, this video is 30 minutes long, probably twice as long as they normally are, because I'm just trying to coach. But you know what, it's took 30 minutes of my time to give you information that probably would have took me hours typing, and then I don't know if the guys obviously picked up at the other end. I mean, he might be bored of bloody reading, because we sometimes just start scanning it through, where this sort of method, he can watch at his leisure. I mean, it's silly o'clock in the morning UK time, you're going to pick this up at your leisure, you can watch it in your time, and all of a sudden the training then is far easier. You'll wake up the next day, he's typed you a few questions and queries, or I've done some changes, go check my base again, and hey presto. And that's kind of how it works, brother. So it's not rocket science, it's just a very, very easy format of doing the training. Get those initial buy-ins, get those screenshots, and then obviously just plan, do, review, just monitor obviously how they're getting on, and do regular sort of assessments, and yeah, give them some autonomy once obviously they realise, if I fuck up here, I'm not gonna be able to upgrade my platform level 2 because I've upgraded me airport level 3 or whatever it might be. It's stuff like that really. But once obviously you've got a control of it, then you can pretty much leave them a lot to their own, and they'll obviously trust you to come back with questions and queries going forward. So that's me, brother. Hope you like it. Take care.